Welcome in, gardeners. Today I want to talk about something that we as gardeners deal with every year, and that's successes and also failures. And I've had plenty of failures throughout the years, and I've had plenty of successes. And I've learned a lot more from the failures that I do successes, because once I have a success, it's just enjoying the moment. But the failures just makes me think, what can I do better? What kind of changes can I make? Am I planting the right plants? And just overall, what's going on with my garden and how can I make it the best I can make. Would be my uh, bell peppers, and I get that and some kind of vine going through there, but they're doing okay. But I've also started bell peppers in grow bags, and it feels like they're like 2 to 3 times as big. And I don't know, maybe they do get a lot of, I feel like, more good soil to them, just because of the bag and how much soil I had to put into the bag. And I think about them more, and I can move them around into the sun. So, if they're not in a place where they don't get enough sun, I could just move them. And I do think I probably put a little bit extra fertilizer into the bags, just because it's a new thing for me, and I want to try it out. And I want to try to be really good at it. And I end up neglecting the bell peppers I have in the ground. And I feel like maybe the ground's just too hard and it doesn't have enough nutrients in them. They're growing as big as they should. Maybe I should have trimmed them up a little bit, although they're bell peppers, and you kind of want them to just grow as big as possible. But it's something to think about, and maybe next year I'll go solely in grow bags, or maybe I'll just try to fix this area here and just be able to add more nutrients to it and just keep more of an eye on it. And this is my brassica bed. I do grow cabbage in here and a little bit of broccoli here. There's a little guy right here. I did harvest a couple of broccolis earlier, and they weren't too bad. They're a little bit small, but from basically my first time this year, they did pretty well. I think if I would have started maybe a month or two earlier, I would have done so much better. By the time I started thinking about broccoli and cabbage, it was kind of late in spring. And I think if I would have went a little bit earlier and thought about the times, because once it starts warming up, they don't do as well, and they're more of a cool climate crop. And I just think if I would have started earlier, something ahead like this, which is not too bad. I mean, I take pride in it, but it could have been twice as big if I would have given it enough time in the cooler parts of the year. And I will regrow them in this fall. And it's just something to think about this fall, is what I did wrong this year and what I'll do better then. I'll take an account of what time of the year is best, when to really start, and just everything else with the light and the water and everything, just to make sure. But while I do think it looks pretty good, I just think it could have been so much better. And I know as gardeners, sometimes we're a little hard on ourselves. We think, man, you see stuff on TV and they're just so huge and luscious, and you look at your crop and it's okay, but I would love to have a crop like that. And it's okay, you'll get better and better every year. You'll learn from your mistakes. You'll cherish your successes. And in the end, you're growing your own food and it tastes immaculate. So, take that for what it is and just enjoy the moments. And, eventually the years down the line, you're just going to have like the near perfect crop, and you just got to keep working at it, keep learning, and keep moving forward. So last year I planted around maybe 5-6 corn, and it was the first time I actually ever grew like corn without any kind of problems. A few years back, I had some kind of pests that were just attacking the corn, and it just didn't work out. So I just stopped doing it for a while. But last year I decided to try it one more time, and I'd had a few corns off the plant, and I decided, you know what? I planted 5 or 6 last year. Let's just plant like 40 or 50 this year. And I think I just got a little overwhelmed. I planted them a little bit too close together. This is about a 4x3, 4x2 bed. And I do have corn in other places. but I feel like I just planted the corn way too close to each other. And I even had some wind today and it knocked one of them down. So I sort of tied some string around it to try to hold them together. So when they whip in the wind, hopefully, I won't have any more crash and burns from my corn. But a few things that I would probably change is one, having maybe less corn in this patch, maybe going by the seed packet. Even though I did buy these by plants and I transplanted them, I would maybe next year try planting the seeds. So when you plant the seeds, they're a little bit more hardy, and the root systems is a little bit better. But sometimes, I'll plant my zucchini, my beans, and other things by seeds. But sometimes it just gets overwhelming, and I just want to buy some plants just to have things grown. Maybe it won't be as cost effective, but it'll be just a little bit of relief on me, so I don't have to worry about all my seeds. But as you can see, I've had some that were 6 feet, 7 feet high, and I also have some corn that are like 3 feet high. And I think if I spaced them out a little bit more, I would have a lot more corn that were as tall as these guys up here. I did plant some corn later on, just so I can have a succession of corn. So these will hopefully be a little bit taller in another month or so. But yeah, I think sometimes I have to think of what do they need. Corn requires a lot of water and nutrients and everything like that. So I feel like I water it and give it more nutrients more often than I would if maybe there would be less corn in this patch. And some of the roots would be a little bit better. It feels like sometimes I can even see the roots on here. But yeah, overall, I am pleased with how it's gone. It's better than last year. But I think, we as gardeners are a little bit hard on ourselves, and I just consider it a failure, even though I do have a lot more corn than last year. So that is a success. But overall, it's a learning experience. And next year, hopefully it'll be a little bit better, and maybe find other places in my yard to grow more corn so I can have it spread out a little bit more. And this is my bean patch slash kind of putting whatever I want into the ground down here. I did have potatoes there. I was swapping them out. I did tomatoes last year in this, and I've been having pretty good success with potatoes. I'm putting those everywhere. Sometimes when you do so good on a crop, or what you think is good, you just want to plant them everywhere. But I've been pretty decent at potatoes this year, and I don't know if that really affected the beans over here. I know that they do grow well together, but maybe I disturbed the soil too much, digging out some of the potatoes. One of my issues I usually deal with is watering. Do I water? Sometimes I'll water too much, thinking it's dry, too little, thinking it's already moist enough. Just those things that you sort of gotta trial and error, kind of figure out yourself. And just, last year at this same time, all this wire was covered with beans. But this year, the right side's doing well, is not too bad, but the left side is not doing as well as I like. I even got a bean that's dead, or mostly dead right there, which is a little bit disappointing. But it's something that you have to, don't get yourself down on yourself. Just kind of think, what did I do different last time? Or maybe I should try something different. Just keep trying something different till you realize, till you have a success, and just make sure you write down, some of the things that you did to make it as well as it was. I can't believe I got a tomato this big in what I feel is such a small bag. It's a 10-gallon bag, and I don't know what tomato this is anymore because I think I lost the tag, but it's got to be, indeterminate. And I think in the future, I would probably just put determinates in grow bags, and then keep my indeterminates in the ground. It's gotten really, really big, and to try to keep it more stable, I've got one of these old flimsy cages that, I've always used throughout my life, although maybe using something different. I mean, I do also have a bamboo pole here, but I think it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And one, it's going to take up all the nutrients. I'm keep adding nutrients to it. And I think if I had it in the ground, I wouldn't have to worry about as much and worry about the watering, worrying about how big it is. I even thought about tying it to my pear tree just to keep it more stable. And I think, I could have gotten a bigger bag, but I'm like, if I'm going to do a 20, 25 pound bag, I might as well just do it in the ground. Unless that was my only choice. If it's my only choice, then it's my only choice. And I would get a bigger bag. But I think in the future, I would just do determinants, like my Roma tomatoes in the bags, and not the indeterminates like whatever this is. And whatever this is, it's going to taste great. I mean, it could be a slicer, could be some massive cherry tomato plant. Yeah, either way, I'll enjoy it and I'll love it. That's what I love about gardening. Half the time, I forget what I planted, but I'll eat everything I planted. It's love of my life. So there's just a few of my slight successes and pretty decent failures. I'm always trying to learn every year and just try to improve on what I have. If I got certain crops that just don't do well one year, that's okay. I would love to have everything just grow so well, grow so big that I'm just like chucking at my neighbors because I have so much. But sometimes you'll have certain crops that will just not do well. Or maybe you have bugs that come and eat half your lettuces one year, not next year. It's just every year is just something different, with whether it's the weather, whether it's the bugs, whether it's the time that you have to put into it. And sometimes you'll just miss out on a few things, and that's okay. As long as you enjoy what you're doing, and hopefully you're getting some at least decent harvests, hopefully great harvests, because you know what, just being able to just come out into your yard or your patio or wherever you have your produce or your herbs or your fruits, and just pick them off right there. It's the best feeling in the world, and that's what I love. And don't get me wrong. If I've been a few tears when I'm trying to grow something, like I had a couple fruit trees this year that just died on me, and I probably threw a couple tears out, and it was sad because you want to have a variety of everything, and sometimes in your climate it's just so hard, or maybe it's something you did, or who knows what, and you just want to be able to have everything, and it's very hard to have everything, but I try to have as much as I can, and I'm doing okay, and I hope you guys are too. So if you liked what you saw and feel a little bit of heart for me, please like and subscribe and share. Thank you very much, guys.